The camera is the last thing that matters, not the first. I could black out this picture. If you heard my emotional voice, you would be still drawn in. Whereas if you saw this picture, you would be like, huh, what is this? And then you turn it off. It's not about the camera. Remember when 24p was the thing? Like, you had to shoot in 24p to get that Hollywood look. At least that's what people were brainwashed to believe. Like, oh yeah, right, like your YouTube video is gonna look Hollywood because you're shooting 24 frames per second. I was shooting 60p and people were saying, why are you shooting in 60p? Like, this is years ago, right? And I said, because it looks cool. And they said, yeah, well, it's got that video look. Well, now it's funny how sheep all are running from here to over here. Now all of a sudden everybody wants to have 60p, 4K, 10-bit, 422. I've been through this already. I've already made a video about this. Like I said, there's nerds and then there's artists. Nerds are all caught up in specs. They're all obsessed with having the latest, greatest horsepower. And then there's the artists who can take anything and make a masterpiece out of it. There's comments in my comment section saying, I would not even consider buying this camera if it's not 10-bit. Oh, right. Okay, like that's what's going to make people like your videos. Or 422. I mentioned a camera and questions are, can it do 4K 60? Now all of a sudden the video look is okay. I still shoot everything in 1080. I don't need 4K. 1080 is more than good enough for YouTube, and I just use a little 1-inch sensor pocket camera. Let me give you a little bit of a thing about who I am, so I come from a little bit of credibility. I worked in Hollywood for over 20 years. I did color timing for Deluxe Labs. Most people watching this probably don't even have a clue what that means. I was an effects artist for some of the biggest companies in Hollywood, like DreamQuest, which was eventually bought by Disney, Apogee, which is owned by Grant McCune and John Dykstra, who did the effects for Star Wars. I worked on Total Recall, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I worked on over 300 television commercials and dozens of motion pictures, and I even made my own motion picture, a full-blown Hollywood 35mm motion picture that played in theaters. It premiered in Man's Chinese. It was on repeats on the Sci-Fi Channel for over 5 years.
Action! Marker.
But should you be victorious, such as the stuff as legends are made of.
I made videos about all that. Most of you already know this. My paintings sold in galleries all over the world, and I was even called in to touch up Steven Spielberg's Norman Rockwell painting. Yes, I touched up a Norman Rockwell painting. I don't know if you know anything about art, but the paint on Norman Rockwell would paste, like literally paste like toothpaste. The paint is really thick, like 1/4 inch thick. And it got so thick, and after 100 years, it started separating off the canvas. And part of it literally fell off the canvas. It was my job to stick it back on and touch it up so you couldn't tell that anything happened. This is Steven Spielberg's Norman Rockwell painting, and I had to be able to make it so you could not tell. I had to match the paint exactly. I was one of the only artists in Hollywood who did glass paintings. This is something they did in the 1920s, where you literally paint on glass. And you have to paint so quickly because the sun changes every 20 minutes. You have to be able to paint a photorealistic painting on glass within 20 minutes that matches reality. I have to be able to match exactly the colors, the hue, the lightness, the contrast, everything so perfectly that you can't tell the difference between the painting, where the painting ends and reality starts. So color and art is my life. It's always been my life. So I know what color is. I know what film and photography is all about. That's my life. I've circled the globe 20 times over and done photo shoots in some of the most exotic locations in the world, taking over 500,000 pictures. And all the pictures I took in all these places, all these years that people loved, every single one of them was 8-bit JPEG. The colors were rich and deep, the shadows and highlights were perfect, because it's all about good lighting, exposure, and white balance. I'm more than happy with 8-bit JPEG. Does that mean my images and videos are inferior? No. Now I know there's people going to say, oh yeah, but if they were 10-bit, they'd be so much better. You could tell the differences. Oh, I can tell the difference. Okay, here's one image that's 8-bit and one is 10-bit. I dare you to be able to tell me the difference. It's just like these people who say, oh, I can tell you've had plastic surgery and you're wearing a wig or you had a hair transplant. I can tell. Oh yeah, you're so sure. You're so sure you can tell. Well, I've never had it. This is my real hair. I have not had plastic surgery. I made a video about my my face looks like with normal lighting. It's all lighting. Good photography and video is mainly lighting more than anything else. It's not filters and plastic surgery and all that crap. It's good lighting. So these people who say, oh, I can tell the difference. Most of these guys that are so obsessed thinking that their stuff is only going to look good if they shoot 10-bit and 422 and it's got to be 4K, 8K, 12K, 200 megabytes per second. Oh, like that's going to make your stuff good. If you actually think that's what's going to make your stuff great, as opposed to an artist who pours his heart out and has emotion and feeling. Look at the movies out there. $300 million movies, major special effects, and you walk out of there feeling empty, like there was nothing that made you feel like that was worth anything. And then there's movies out there that are shot on crappy cameras. They're half out of focus, they're grainy, they look terrible, they sound terrible, but yet you're just feel for it so much. A lot of these movies from the 70s, if you look at them compared to stuff we have now, they had stories. There was something there, that these modern glitzy, fancy things just don't have. And that's good storytelling. That's good emotion. Something that you feel for. And that's what's lacking so much with these fancy, high-tech, totally in focus, 300 megabyte per second. Look at Blair Witch. I mean, that was shot on a Super 8 camera or a home video camera. And that's why sometimes I feel like just shutting down this channel, because people just don't get it. They don't get what real art is. They don't see that you could just take any camera and make something great with it. You don't need the latest, greatest stuff to make great things that people attach to and love. I mean, I'm shooting this video right now with this. It's a little pocket camera. This is a Lumix LX10. I'll make a video about it. I like it so much, I got two of them. I got this one here I'm holding in my hand and the one that I'm filming with right there. This is a little pocket camera. I'm not using something with a big matte box in the front and rails and a big power pack on the back and a big monitor on top and grip handles and a gimbal and like all these wannabe pretend Hollywood people. It's a little freaking pocket camera and I'm making a YouTube video and you're still watching it. You're still watching it after 8 minutes of me yapping and rambling on and venting and all that. Why? Because I've got something real to say. These people that think they're going to get more followers because they have a sharper picture, you are not a Hollywood person just because you shoot in RAW and you use logs and LUTs. Oh, well, it makes all the little subtle gradations of gray matter better. Suddenly you can start seeing details in the highlights. Well, honestly, most of that stuff looks too washed out and gray and boring to me. It's not popping with color and vibrancy and aliveness. Now, I know I'm going to get attacked by this. All these nerds are going to leave all their lengthy explanations in the comment section as to why they need to do 10-bit RAW, 4K, 60. Cameras are getting better. Yeah, okay. But do you really need all that? No, you don't. If you really want to be a filmmaker, and most people are just going to be YouTubers, but either way, it's the same. If you want to pull people in, if you want to draw them in, it's not about the camera. It's not about the megapixels and the dynamic range and how sharp the picture is and all that. It's about how you can really capture people's emotions. And lighting. Lighting is more important than the camera. Audio is more important than the camera. The camera is the last thing that matters, not the first. Good audio is much more important than what you see. I could black out this picture. If you heard my emotional voice, you would be still drawn in. Whereas if you saw this picture, you would be like, what is this? And then you turn it off. Audio is more important than picture. Storytelling is more important than how beautiful the picture is. The camera is the last thing, and especially how sharp and how much dynamic range it has, and the 10 bits and the 12 bits and the 14 bits. Stop it. Stop it. That's why I almost wanted to end this channel, because I am so tired of seeing people say they don't even want to look at a camera unless it's 10-bit, unless it does 4K 60. And like, come on. I mean, really? This is not what it's all about. I hope some people get it, because that frustrates, as an artist, that really frustrates the hell out of me. Stop being brainwashed by the media and other people who are given free stuff by companies to tell you it's the greatest thing. I don't care about global shutter. You can make the same picture without global shutter if you know what you're doing. And that's what my channel is about, to show you how to get the same picture with equipment that's 10 or 15 or even 20 years old. Stop saying, oh, I gotta have this, and then I'll be the best. Then people will like me, then people will like my stuff. No, they won't. Learn to be human. Learn to connect on a different level, as if what you see with your eyes isn't that important. What your ears and what your heart hears is much more important than what your eyes see. Learn that important lesson. I'm a visual artist. I paint. My whole life is pictures and movies and videos and painting. It's all visual stuff. That's my life. But I'm telling you, as a visual artist, that's not the most important thing. I'm sorry about this rant, but that really gets me going when I see people leave comments like that and they're just going off in that direction. They are sheep. Stop it. Learn to learn what's important in life. And that's how you get a following. Give people something that they can use in their lives that really matters, that really means something, that's really deep on a personal level. And they don't care how slick you look and how good the picture is. They really don't care. What they care about is your message to them. And I hope my message to you is making a difference. I'm all about showing you how you don't need the latest stuff. Be resourceful with what you have. Be creative, and that makes you feel like you've accomplished more by using less. I hope this makes sense. I hope I got through to a few people, because I'd like to think that what I'm doing makes a difference in people's lives. Yeah, I'm funny a lot. I make fun of things and all that. I try to make it lighthearted and fun, but there is a deep, passionate message in there. No matter how bad off you are in life, you can make it work with what you have. And that's my message. So have a good one. Take this to heart, and I'll see you in the next video.